What's up, guys? Today I got a really sweet build guide for you. 3.8 Assassin cast on crit. Um, Let me see. It is utilizing the really sweet new mega buffed Desecrate. They took away the cooldown, so now you can spawn 5 corpses constantly as long as you blow them up fast enough, because you can only get to 10, but it doesn't matter as long as you're spawning them. So you spawn a Desecrate, and then you Volatile Dead it. And yeah, you get the enchant on your helm for 1 additional, so you get effectively 25% more damage. And you get a cast on crit weapon with the attack speed double damage mod on it. The multi-mod around that, usually using hits can't be evaded since you're a crit build. You don't need to worry about accuracy. It makes it really, really nice. So let's just get into a map real quick. We'll just do a city square. Vol it. Maybe we'll get something really nice. We don't. Okay. Harbinger it. I'll check that later. Maybe this is a bit loud. Okay. So you use your flame dash. I had a Vol Righteous Fire here too. Just murdered. So you use your flame dash to get an arcane surge. And yeah, you basically just lawnmower everything. You have about 4 million. I'm sure you could get higher, but this build has about 4 million shaper damage. You get super tankiness with the new buffs to Assassin as well, so it works around the buffed Desecrate and the buffed Assassin. You just evaporate everything it touches. Like, it does too much damage. But that's what you're going for. Maybe you started out the league and you went Assassin, right? And you were like, oh man, I want to do one of those new poison assassins everyone's talking about. That seems really fun. And then you realized it's not very good without a good amount of gear, because you have to go crit multi with a poison assassin. This is a great backup character. Just switch to this bad boy, and you'll be having a great time. The other cool thing is most people who go cast on crit don't go this build. They go the Frostbolt Ice Nova build. Look at that, just. All right, that was awkward. Edit that out. Like I have an editor. Oh, look at that sustaining. But basically, it's just a sweet buff to the build. Honestly, I was running it with greater multiple projectiles in my main link with On Earth to do it, and it still was comparable, if not more damage than an Ice Nova one. Probably the gear is cheaper too, because you'll be using like Anger instead of Hatred. Anyways, let's get into the gear. The required gear. No, let's do the tree first. Tree sounds more fun. All right, so you're an assassin, opportunistic, huge buff, right? Like it was already a really powerful build. Its only backdraw was maybe it was a little bit squishy, and it's not really the build's fault that it was squishy. So you take opportunistic, 20% more damage. Nuts. 20% increased movement speed. Nuts. The reduced damage taken, I would say if there's 2 enemies near you, you get that instead, right? At most 1 rare enemy or unique enemy. If there's 2 of them, you get reduced damage taken. I'd say that's better. That's a ridiculous amount of reduced damage taken. So 20% more damage is just a great way to think about this node. Awesome node. Then you got Mistwalker, which is even better. Ridiculous. It's basically gives you elusive all the time, which is something other builds generally don't get all the time. It's still going to fade and evaporate off of you, but you get it right back as soon as you can. So you're basically always going to have 8% reduced damage taken, and then you take no damage, extra damage from crits. Lots of the damage in this game that kills you is a crit. So this is a huge damage reduction buff, as well as just quality of life for elusive, proccing elusive, attack speed, super good. It's what you need for cast on crit anyways, is attack speed, so it's perfect. Then you take the bonus to base crit, and then the crit multi. So this is just obvious, kind of obvious. I would say though any assassin character should take opportunistic and Mistwalker. It's just ridiculous the amount of bonuses you get for defensive and offensive means here, and move speed. I mean, just super great, right? So for the tree, you take the damage. Obviously, this is super obvious. 6% or 12% increased attack speed. Amazing. 12% from one node, plus you get dex, and you need dex, or at least I need dex with my gear. Anyways, so almost a no-brainer. Go through here, obvious reasons. I'm not going to explain a lot. That's super obvious, I guess. You could take out this node's important because a lot of your damage scales off of your power charges. You could take out these nodes here though if you wanted to go for something else. That would be 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 extra nodes you could get on your tree to go get something else. You have a good amount of life. I wouldn't though. This is obviously my tree, so that's what I would do. Crit multi, super good. Flask effect, you could maybe drop this. I don't know. It has attack speed on it. Flask effect, I have pretty good flasks. It makes sense to keep it. But you could definitely drop this for something else as well. This would be another 5 points you could drop. It's not super valuable to go get the penetration and the damage here. I'd say it's probably worth it. It's an equal trade as far as how your tree goes in power. This is a node I wouldn't drop though. Crit multi here, per power charge you have 7 power charges up all the time. So your crit multi is going to be 35% from one node. That's awesome. That's so much multi that you get from one node, and then you also get crit chance here, which is like 50. I don't know. It's a lot of crit chance, and then you get damage here. So 35 damage, 35 multi, 7 times. It's a lot. Fuck you. Mana regen is fine too. And then you go over here, and this is how you get both auras. Just reduce aura effect. You could probably drop it to a certain amount. If I had a level 4 Enlighten, I bet I could drop this and still be able to Cyclone fine, and maybe put damage somewhere else. That's something I'll think about. I only have a level 1 Enlighten right now. I'm leveling it. Shut up. My other Enlightens, my other level 4 Enlightens are on other characters, and I'm just too lazy to switch them over. I wouldn't really change too much other stuff. Let's look at the jewels. I got a Watcher's Eye here for Zealotry and Anger. That's why I'm using Zealotry. But also Zealotry is a really good amount of regen too, because it creates those conch grounds all the time. So you're always basically on conch ground. You always get that 6% life regen per second. Plus, if an enemy's on conch ground, they get like 100%. It's like a power charge extra of increased crit. So it's very good. And then the penetration, obviously on Anger, penetration is just awesome to have. So it's like more damage is how I think about it. So this is a really good jewel. And with level 4 Enlighten, I might just go fucking buy one, because I could probably squeeze in a Herald of Ash in there too, and that would help with corpse explosion, because I don't need any more corpse explosion, because I don't need any more corpses from enemies, I guess, because I'm already using a level 21 Desecrate. I don't know, I'd have to check it out. But definitely something I'm thinking about doing for the extra damage you get from that. Oh, let's go look at my jewels more. This jewel, literally a 1 property. The multi, my melee weapon, doesn't do very much damage compared to the 4 million my spell does. But the increased attack speed, so it's a 1 prop with Corrupting Blood. It's Corrupting Blood. You need something with Corrupting Blood. I have better jewels. I'll probably switch this out for something with like life on it, and maybe like spell crit multi or something. I think I have 2 props somewhere, or maybe I'll just buy one for 2x. That's pretty decent. 48 multi, 10, 48 multi, 30, 43 multi on this jewel. Super good. For a jewel, this jewel's not super great. It's got attack speed on it though, and it's got like 40% crit, something like that, and strength and dex. And I already mentioned before I need strength and dex in my build. This one's got life on it. I would suggest getting life on all your jewels, or like a lot of multi. And then I need cold resist and lightning resist. And multi, the lightning damage does nothing though, so it's only a 3 property. So these jewels are pretty garbage. Other than the Watcher's Eye, I'd say, and maybe the 43 multi jewel, that's super good. Let's look at the gear. All right, I don't know if we went over this one yet. Cast on crit, hits can't be evaded, multi-modded around the cast on crit and the double damage attack speed mod. I would recommend doing that. You can do it in League, and there's a lot of other options to fill any of the legacy slots that I have here. You want a volatile dead, and then you get the negative enemies have, and the nearby enemies have negative fire resistance. You get that from a fossil, a fire fossil, scorching fossil. Yes. And this is a garbage helm. I'm going to recraft it, but the plus 1 leveled AoE gems, this is where you will want to put your auras, which I don't do, but you should do, and I will do. I just need to rework the character a little bit. Coral ring, you want a lot of your damage to come from your ring slot if you can, and your glove slot, and I'll explain that in just a second. So I have cold damage to spells. It would be better if it was fire damage, but fire only comes on an Elder Ring. I should probably get an Elder Ring for my other slot for that reason, but I wanted the Assassin's Mark on hit, and this one has 90 life, it looks like. It's pretty good. 90 life, some dex. I need dex anyways, so this one's got a lot of life, some crit chance. Not very good, honestly. I don't think I freeze. I don't think I freeze, so I don't freeze or chill, I should say. So I don't think I get the bonus damage from this, but the bonus damage to lightning and spells to my attacks is super good. 30 damage is actually a lot of flat damage because of how Volatile Dead scales damage, effective at 120%, but then the base damage of it explodes 4 corpses because of your helmet. So the base damage of it, it's just really good to add damage to your build. So you want it on your if you want to add a bunch of damage, you want to get it on your rings and your glove. And your glove, you can get this. It's a super secret. 51 to 78 added fire damage against burning enemies. Shh, that's a lot of damage. Okay, so look at anger, right? Anger gives you this is a level 16 anger. Yep, level 16 anger. It gives you 80. It gives you 90 added fire damage. At max level, probably gives you 105 or some fuck. I don't know. 100 damage. This one gives you, what is that, 65? 65? That's almost anger alone, just in added damage. And honestly, the added damage that you get from anger, it's like an increase of 30% almost. Like, it's a lot of added damage. Maybe not quite 30%, but it's still a lot of flipping damage, okay? So getting added damage all over the place, that's fire preferably, is a really good way to scale your damage up on this character. And then the rest of your slots, you just want life resist and move speed, obviously, for your boots. Let's go over the links. So Fortify on my melee weapon because I love taking less damage. 20% less damage is better than 50% more damage because I already have 4 million damage. So I want it up all the time. I don't want to have to Flicker Strike. I don't want to have to Conk Path. I don't want to have to Leap Slam. Just Fortify on my melee link. That's fine. At 4 million DPS, I'll take the swap out. Desecrate as high level as you can. Doesn't really matter though, because honestly most of your damage comes from the spell portion of this. Combustion support. I mean, that's just 50% more damage, right? 30 on the jewel, and then 20 on the negative fire resistance. Super good. Volatile Dead. Amazing jewel. Try to get it 2120 if you can. Conk effect for more damage. That damage scales your volatile deads that seek the orbs that seek shit out, and then Cyclone. For your helmet link, you will want Enlighten 4, Zealotry, Anger, probably Herald of Ash here. I haven't done the math yet. Sue me, I will. I'll check into it, and it's gonna be awesome. Otherwise, you could just do. I mean, this is a flexible part, but that's how you optimize your damage. Precision here is fine too if you don't want to optimize your damage. Purifying Flame, cast when damage taken, just so you have that conk ground up more often. And then you get Summon Lightning Golem for attack speed, Wave of Conviction for the exposure it gives. Also, this stuff, it does a lot of damage. I mean, it's kind of cool since you have so much added damage that your cast when damage taken, even if it's a low skill, it tends to kill like white mobs pretty easily, which is kind of cool. Cast when damage taken, I did it on high leveled so I could have a high level curse without cheesing too much. Blood Rage, I wanted to get above that. Blood Rage gives you attack speed, super good. So as long as your Blood Rage is above, you're not going to copy this exact build. These links are kind of shitty. Arctic Breath is garbage. Flammability is fine. I have an extra curse on my chest. You can just use an Elder Chest here instead of this, obviously. You can't get this in League. Elder Chest is arguably better. Since you don't need all of these links, you could even go a Combs Chest for additional life, even more survivability, so super good here. You take Steel Skin, increased duration support, Righteous Fire. The increased duration of support affects your Arcane Surge support, and you link that to your Flame Dash. And yeah, I think that's the build guide. I think I covered everything, guys. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll check you guys next time.